The universe is full of powerful, terrifying events. We talk about supernovas, black holes, and asteroid impacts. But all of those are chaotic, messy killers. If you want to find the universe's most efficient and brutal weapon, you have to look for the gamma-ray burst, or GRB. A GRB is not an explosion in the way we think of one. It's not a sphere of shrapnel. It is the universe's deadliest sniper rifle. It's a focused, hair-thin beam of pure, high-energy radiation, gamma rays, blasting out from a single point. These beams travel at the speed of light and carry more energy in a few seconds than our sun will produce in its entire 10 billion-year lifespan. What could possibly create such a thing? Two of the most extreme events in the cosmos, the hypernova. When a truly massive star, one more than 40 times the mass of our sun, dies, it collapses in on itself so violently that it forms a black hole. As this happens, jets of energy and matter blast out from its poles at near light speed. If a star's pole is pointed at us, we see a GRB, the Kilonova. When two neutron stars, the dead, ultra-dense cores of ancient stars, spiral into each other and collide, they merge. This merger is so violent it literally shatters the fabric of space-time, and in the process it launches two perfect, deadly beams of gamma rays. We are perfectly safe from these events, as long as we are not in the line of fire. But what if we were? What if 6,000 light-years away, a pair of neutron stars just finished their death dance, and the resulting beam, a 10-second-long torrent of unimaginable energy, was pointed directly at Earth? It wouldn't just be a bad day. It would be a step-by-step, systematic dismantling of our entire biosphere. This isn't one event. It's a cascade. This is the listicle of our annihilation. Here are the 6 most likely ways a gamma-ray burst would wipe out all life on Earth. The beam itself, traveling from 6,000 light-years away, arrives with no warning. It's invisible, silent, and moving at the speed of light. The day side of the Earth, the hemisphere facing the burst, would experience it first. The gamma rays themselves would slam into our atmosphere. Our atmosphere is our shield. But a shield can only take so much. The sheer energy of the GRB would be so intense that it would Compton scatter, a process where the gamma rays slam into air molecules, nitrogen and oxygen, and transfer a massive amount of energy to them. The entire upper atmosphere on the hit side would be superheated instantly to temperatures rivaling the surface of the sun. This creates a terrifying thermal pulse, a wave of intense heat that would flash cook the surface below. Anyone or anything on the day side of the planet would be exposed to a level of heat and radiation that would cause fatal third-degree burns in seconds. Forests, cities, and grasslands would ignite in a single global firestorm. But this is just the opening act. The real damage isn't the heat. It's the chemistry. This is the true killer. The effects of a GRB are not just physical, they are chemical. As those gamma rays rip through the atmosphere, they don't just heat it, they tear the molecules apart. Our air is 78% nitrogen, N2, and 21% oxygen, O2. These are very stable, happy molecules. The GRB is like a cosmic bullet, it shatters them. The N2 molecules are split into single, highly reactive nitrogen atoms. These atoms immediately bond with oxygen, creating a molecule called nitric oxide, NO. This is where the true disaster lies. Nitric oxide is a catalyst. It has a voracious appetite for one thing: ozone, O3. The GRB creates trillions of tons of this NO high in the stratosphere. And here's the terrifying part. One molecule of NO can act as a catalyst, destroying over 100,000 molecules of ozone before it's finally neutralized. This isn't a hole in the ozone layer like the one we had over Antarctica. This is a global, systematic, and instantaneous annihilation. Within weeks, as the atmospheric chemicals mix, the entire planet's ozone layer would be gone. Scientists estimate a 10-second GRB could strip away 90% or more of our total global ozone. Why does this matter? The ozone layer is our only shield against the high-energy ultraviolet UV radiation from our own sun. The GRB is gone in 10 seconds, but it has now turned our own star into the next weapon. With the ozone layer gone, the sun's full, unfiltered spectrum of radiation hits the surface. This includes a massive increase in UVB and, most lethally, UVC radiation, which is normally stopped completely by our atmosphere. The effect is a global sterilization event. On the day side of the planet, now the entire planet, as it rotates, the UV radiation would be so intense, it would be fatal to any exposed life. It would kill surface bacteria, plants, and any animal that survived the initial blast. It would cause blindness in seconds and lethal burns in minutes. But the real victims are the base of the food chain. In the oceans, the phytoplankton, the microscopic plants that live in the surface layer and produce 60% of our oxygen, would be completely destroyed. They have no protection, no way to hide. The UV radiation would shred their DNA, and in a matter of days, the ocean's primary producers would be gone. This triggers a total collapse. The krill that feed on them die. The fish that feed on the krill die. The entire marine ecosystem from the bottom up would starve. The ocean would become a sterile, empty graveyard, and all that death leads to the next chemical nightmare. Let's go back to that chemical soup our atmosphere has become. The GRB didn't just create nitric oxide, no. It created a whole family of nitrogen oxides, often called NOx. The most famous of these is nitrogen dioxide, NO2. This is the reddish-brown, toxic gas that you see in pictures of photochemical smog over cities like Los Angeles or Beijing. It's a lung irritant that causes massive respiratory failure. A GRB would create so much nitrogen dioxide on a global scale that it would literally change the color of the sky. The familiar blue would be replaced by a permanent, sickening brownish-orange haze. The entire planet would be wrapped in a toxic smog so thick it would block out much of the visible light from the sun. So now we have a world that is being simultaneously sterilized by UV light, the part we can't see, and darkened by smog, the part we can see. This smog would choke any air-breathing animal that survived. Their lungs would be chemically burned, leading to a slow, agonizing death by suffocation. And this toxic brown sky has one more horror to unleash. That nitrogen dioxide doesn't stay in the sky forever. It's a heavy, reactive gas, and it's about to mix with the one thing that can bring it down to Earth: water. When nitrogen dioxide, NO2, dissolves in water, H2O, it forms nitric acid, HNO3. The next rain to fall on Earth would not be water. It would be a global corrosive deluge of pure acid. This wouldn't be the acid rain we talk about today, which is a mild, long-term problem. This would be a chemical burn. This acid would fall on the continents, poisoning every lake, river, and stream. It would kill any plant life that survived the fires, the UV, and the smog. It would dissolve the shells and skeletons of any marine organisms that survived the UV blast, like corals, clams, and plankton. It would scrub the land clean of all but the most resilient, deep-ground microbes. It would turn the oceans into a vast, acidic, and sterile chemical bath. The Earth, at this point, is a burned, sterilized, smog-choked, acid-washed, and lifeless rock. And all of this has led us to the final, inevitable conclusion. This is the nail in the coffin, the mop-up. It's the 1-2 punch that finishes off any complex life that somehow found a way to hide from the fire, the UV, the smog, and the acid. The GRB, in its 10-second fury, doesn't just pass through our atmosphere, it irradiates it. The intense flood of gamma rays would trigger nuclear fission in the air itself. It would slam into stable nitrogen atoms and create a massive, global spike in radioactive isotopes, especially carbon-14. This means that for years, even decades, after the burst, the atmosphere itself would be radioactive. It wouldn't be a flash of radiation, it would be a glow, a persistent, low-level but inescapable bath of radiation coming from the very air you breathe. This radiation would be strong enough to cause radiation sickness, fatal cancers, and catastrophic mutations in the DNA of any surviving organisms. Any creature that survived by hiding deep underground or in the deep ocean would now be living in a world where the air and water are slowly poisoning them. It's a final, inescapable filter designed to ensure that the mass extinction is total. This radiation would penetrate the soil, irradiate the water, and deliver a final lethal dose to the last vestiges of complex life. The reset is now complete. Let's pull back and look at our new Earth. It's been 1 year since the 10-second flash. The planet is a burned, smog-choked, acid-washed, and sterile wasteland. The sky is a permanent toxic brown. The sun is a dim smudge, but its invisible UV rays are a death blow to anything that peeks out. The oceans are a vast, acidic, anoxic soup, home only to the hardiest anaerobic bacteria. The continents are silent, the cities are dark, the forests are charred skeletons. The air itself is radioactive, a final keep-out sign to the universe. The GRB is the perfect killer. It uses the planet's own systems against it. It weaponizes our atmosphere, our sun, and our water. And here is the most terrifying, chilling fact of all. This isn't just theory. We have a suspect. 450 million years ago, Earth suffered the Ordovician-Silurian extinction, one of the Big Five mass extinctions. It was a bizarre event. Life on the surface and in shallow water was mysteriously annihilated, while deep-sea creatures were largely spared. This pattern is a perfect match for the kill signature of a gamma-ray burst. The UV sterilization and atmospheric destruction would wipe out the surface, leaving the deep, shielded ocean life to one day repopulate the planet. It's possible we are living on a planet that has already been shot by this cosmic rifle, and we are the second draft of life that crawled out of the darkness. We scan the skies for asteroids. We worry about supervolcanoes, but those are threats we can see, or at least predict. The GRB is the ultimate silent service weapon. We will get no warning. It's already on its way, traveling at the speed of light, or it's not. We have no way to know. We just have to hope that in this vast cosmic shooting gallery, our tiny blue planet never ever finds itself in the crosshairs.